Hi everyone. Today I want to share with you a little teaching, some insights, and my own personal reflections on anger, irritation, frustration, and irritability. Last time I was on here, I talked a little bit about grief and how it's the normal response when a big change comes, because we have to grieve the loss of what was so that we can be more fully present with what is. So, part of the grieving process is that anger, irritability, frustration. And that's because this is the fire element that is coming in to help catalyze the change. So when we look at it from a yogic perspective, we're really talking about third center here, the solar plexus, which the solar plexus is actually ruled by the moon, which is about reflection. And this center is also our ego center. So this is the place where we have identified ourselves with limits, meaning that we are labeling ourselves as a mother, a daughter, a teacher, whatever it is that you have spent your life labeling yourself as. Those are all collected to create your ego or your limited identity. And so when a big change comes, this energy of the solar plexus, or that fire element, has to come in to help you disidentify with what was, so that you can catalyze the change into, again, now what is. So I love a little insight that I've gotten through just my yogic practice and reading a lot of Yogi Bhajan's books. And one of the things that he says is that irritation arises when we get something that we don't want. So if you're finding yourself irritated, it's pretty normal response right now, because a lot of us don't really want to be stuck at home or quarantined or having to deal with this pandemic. And then frustration is an energy that helps to build up, so that because it helps us to create a new outlook. So frustration is not getting what you want. And so a lot of us, whenever we get into situations where there's big change, we try to control or sedate the situation. And when we can't control, or we can't sedate, or we can't get things to go the way we want them to, frustration comes in. And frustration is a building of that energy so that we can break through the black or white thinking, if it's not the way I wanted it, then maybe I can force it to be the way I want it now. And when that black or white option, those two options, are neither one happening, the frustration helps to come in so that you can create a third possibility, or see from a different perspective a solution. So if you're finding yourself irritated, frustrated or angry, just know that you can channel that energy. It helps to raise your energy so that you can make a change. So it's coming in to help. It also is a great energy to create boundaries. So it's something that helps to step in and say, okay, this is not acceptable anymore. And this is what is going to better support me in my now expanded consciousness, meaning that I've expanded beyond the limits that I was attached to. And now, in that expanded form, I'm requiring more support for that. And the boundary will help you to hold that new expanded self. So the other thing that I wanted to share about anger is that Um, One of my favorite sayings that I think of often is that healing is really just forgiving ourselves for the misuse of our anger. And when we misuse our anger, usually it's because we've been taught that anger is bad, or that we don't have the right to be angry. And so it comes out sideways. And when that anger comes out sideways, unfortunately, we tend to project it onto our loved ones or into situations where that energy is now being misused, because that energy was meant for you to make a change. And some of us use that energy instead to try and change others, or to try and change a situation, or to try and force the solution. So I am going to be releasing several different practices this week to help you with that anger energy, so that you can transmute, transform, and it will catalyze these changes in your life. Satnam.